embodying the state, robotic affirming, visualizing while in sats, scripting, inner conversations, all the bloody different manifestation techniques. Which one works the fastest? Yeah, the quickest. Which one brings about change fast? You're gonna have to watch this to find out. Hello, my fellow flawless, limitless, sexy, sassy, saucy HBICs. How are you on this lovely morning, afternoon, or evening? How are you all? I hope you are all doing fabulous. I hope you are all deciding to be the best versions of yourself. And by best version, I just mean the version of you that has what you are manifesting. Are you doing that? Or are we still walking around sitting in the mindset that I'm not even sure if this manifestation shit works? I don't know if I'll ever be able to get my specific person. Is that who you're being? If so, you really need to watch this video. For real, for real. Other than that, I hope you all are feeling your best today. And I hope you are all in the mindset of, hell yeah, I'm getting what I want. Hell yeah, I am. So let me skip through the typical intro and just say, if you would like to work with me in any way, shape, or form, please click on that drop box below. It should say the word more with some dots. Click on that. In that description box is all the information on how to connect with me. Okay? So if you want to work with me one-on-one, I will let you know that regular coaching does have a bit of a wait. Emergency coaching, I do have that, okay? So if you really need to talk to me, it is within 24 to 72. It is no longer 24 to 48. That's not possible anymore, okay? 24 to 72 hours. The more flexible you are, the quicker you get in. Okay? If you are new here, how you doing? I'm Kimberly, and I am obsessed with getting what I want. I'm very obsessed with it. And I don't like to wait, and I don't like to do a lot to manifest. I want this to be simple. I want it to not be inconvenient to my day. So if you're like me, why don't you subscribe and come back and see me? I would really appreciate it. Plus, it doesn't cost you a damn thing. You just hit subscribe, all done. And maybe while you're at it, you could hit that like button, okay? If you find my content in any way, shape, or form helpful, I would appreciate the like. That like helps others who need help with manifestation find my channel, find my videos, which is always appreciated. Let's jump into today's video. Today, we're talking about techniques. Robotic affirming, just regular affirming, visualizing, scripting, sats, inner conversations, embodiment, deciding. There's so many different techniques out there, and I'm sure if you're new to manifestation in general, hearing all these different techniques must be overwhelming, very overwhelming, and I understand that. So hopefully this video is going to be the video that simplifies it for you. That's my goal on this channel, to make manifestation simple, because it is. We humans complicate it. We basic bitch muggles in the 3D complicate it. This video was inspired by a super chat question that I received on my live stream the other day, and I'm going to quickly read it. Hi, Kim. I've seen success with robotic affirmations. Do I still have to change my state? Or does this take care of it if it's my intention to shift my state? To simply answer that question, I can say, yes. Robotic affirming, if that's the thing you enjoy, please continue to do it. Please continue to do it. If you know your intention is to be your new self and your way of getting there is through robotic affirming, perfectly fine. And yes, it will work. But this is where, opinions come into the equation. First and foremost, manifestation is a individual journey. Individual. So by individual, I mean every single one of us has our own individual personality. We have our own individual opinions, and we have our own, individual likes and dislikes. There are some people who don't enjoy writing shit. They don't want to be bothered to have to take the time to write anything. So scripting would not be a technique for them. See what I'm saying? Some of us thinking about the thought of robotic affirming. If you don't know what robotic affirmations are, it's basically just saying your affirmation repetitively, quickly, like a robot. Boom, ba-da-doom, 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 ba-da-doom. Kind of like that. Like, he loves me, 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 he loves me. That's kind of like robotic affirming. Do you have to do it in such a quick pace like I was just doing? No, I was being sarcastic. You don't have to go that fast. But it's when you are repetitively saying the same exact affirmation over and over and over and over. And some people like to even keep a counter going because they have a goal of how many times they want to say that affirmation. Now, for someone with my personality, that does not jive with me. I could not imagine hanging on to a counter and actually clicking, click, 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 every time I affirmed. And it's just not my personality to sit there and say the same exact thing over and over and over and over. It's not my style. If anything, that feels stressful to me. So I wouldn't be the person to robotically affirm. But for the people that don't like scripting, writing, for the people like me who don't like the idea of robotic affirming, does that mean we're screwed and there's no other way for us to shift our state? Hell no. Hell no. This is the point of the video, to show you that there is no best technique. There is none. There is no number one really best technique. You see, when someone like myself is recording a manifestation video, we are recording this. And if the person is being 100% authentic and truthful in their video, and there are a handful of lovely YouTubers, TikTokers, Instagrammers who are authentic and who do share from their experience. But that's the point. We can only ever share from our personal experience. For example, on my channel, I'm only going to share the information and knowledge I have learned along my journey. But a lot of it has come from my own reading and intaking information and what I've personally experienced from applying techniques, utilizing the law of assumption within my own life and my success rate and how quickly things manifest. So my favorite technique is the technique that has gotten me things quickly, effectively. And because I am that anal retentive, it also has to be for me to name it the best, it has to be the technique that also helped me to continue to maintain it. So on my channel, you are going to relentlessly hear me say, decide, make a decision, decide you are the version of yourself that has your manifestation. That's my favorite technique. Simply, consciously thinking that I am my new self. So when I start my day, the first thing out of my mouth is, I am my new self. I am the version of self that. And if I feel like saying after that, anything specific, if there's something on my mind that I'm consciously manifesting, I will say that. That's who I am. And essentially, me verbalizing that decision is kind of just like affirming. But I will, because I like to keep everything 100%, because when I am verbalizing that decision, now I should say, just to keep it real, there are days that I don't say it out loud. I just say it in my head, just so you know. Either one is fine. When I say that to myself, when I start my day with that intention that I am new self. I've made that decision. It does feel like I am inner conversating with someone. It's like I'm telling someone on the outside of me, hey, this is who I am. Sounds kind of weird, I know, but that's what it feels like. That's what is in my mind when I'm saying it consciously. It's like I'm telling someone, like the telephone technique by Neville Goddard. So there are days when I see a quick flash of, past relatives of mine. It's like I'm talking to their spirit. Or there's days where I believe I am communicating with no one other than the I am, which is who's inside of me and in you and in everybody else on this world or this planet, this dimension. The I am. God, universe, higher power, source energy, whatever you believe in, moonbeams. So I call it like an affirmation / inner conversation hybrid. That's my way of doing it. That's how I set my intention. That's how I decide. I consciously think the thought or verbalize it. I am new self. But I've also taken the time to define who new self is. And that is important. No matter what technique you're using, knowing who you're becoming, or like I said, that's, future tense talk. If you prefer present tense talk, so that's who I am. You kind of want to know who you are and who you're choosing to be. So define it. Take a moment to think consciously. Who is my new self? What state am I entering? So, robotic affirming. There's a lot of content out there on that. What I will say about robotic affirmations, I coach people that prefer to robotically affirm. Do they successfully manifest? Yes. But was it because of the robotic affirmations? No. It was because as they were robotically affirming, they were consciously thinking that they were becoming this new version of themselves. Another way of saying, you're making the decision to be a new self is embodying the state. Now that's a technique in itself, embodiment. Embodiment is feeling overall in your body physically and mentally, emotionally up here that you really are this new being, the you that has what you're manifesting. So if you're manifesting marriage with your specific person, embodiment is conjuring up the feelings and thoughts of being a husband or a wife. It's allowing yourself to think about, what do I think I would feel like if I were a wife right now, or a husband right now in this moment? What do I think it would feel like? Some people get tripped up and they instantly start thinking logical and start worrying that, well, I've never been married. I don't know what it feels like. Throw that out the window. You're thinking too hard here. You're thinking too logically, too literal. Why do you want to be a wife or a husband? Why do you want to be married? That answer can be applied to what you think it would feel like to be married. See what I'm saying? Don't overthink it. So, is embodiment a good technique? Absolutely. Until I got to the place in my journey where I was tired of doing that, per se, forcing myself to feel something on days I wasn't in the mood to feel at all, that's where the decision making came from. But until I was at that moment in my life, I was the embodiment person. I enjoyed embodying the state, allowing myself to think and feel as if I was that new self. But before that, I used to be a scripter. And when I was scripting, I enjoyed every damn second of that, just so you know, because I love paper products. But when I was scripting, I was fully immersing myself into what I was writing, physically and mentally, emotionally. So what was I really doing when I was scripting? I was embodying. I was allowing myself to be my new self. So my point in sharing that, not that you care about my technique history, my point in sharing that is all three of those techniques were leading me to stepping in to the version of myself, or also known as stepping into that state of me having my manifestation. There is not one best technique. The techniques that work the best are the ones that feel good to you. I shared in the beginning that robotic affirming really isn't my thing because I don't want to do that. That feels like work to me. So robotic affirming would not be sustainable for me. I am someone that doesn't like to feel restrictive. I don't like feeling like I have to do something, even though at the same time, I start my day doing the same damn thing every day, but it doesn't feel restrictive to me. That's the thing, is none of this has to make sense. It's just all in personal opinion, personal perspective. Making a decision to claim I am a particular version of myself, it feels easy to me. And it feels sustainable. This is a technique that I can do easily every day and throughout my day if I need it. Now, why am I mentioning that? Because let's say you are someone who prefers visualizing. Maybe visualizing is easy for you. I don't enjoy visualizing, right? I now know that, well, I got ADHD, so my mind is all over the place. So conjuring up a visual and feeling like I have to stay in it and keep bringing it in and, getting my senses involved with the visual, that doesn't feel good to me because I feel like I'm constantly having to pull my mind back to the visual. Do you see what I'm saying? There's a freedom for me in just saying I am new self. I am her. I'm the me who's in the most loving, fulfilling, committed relationship. That's who I am now. I am the millionaire version of myself. I am whatever else you're manifesting. It's easy for me. It's easy for me. So visualizing, back to the original point. Some people believe that they must follow word for word what the granddaddy of manifestation or the granddaddy of law of assumption shared in all of his work, which is doing it in SATs, state akin to sleep. This is a wonderful technique, right? It's like falling asleep in the wish fulfilled. But that's not sustainable for me because I fall asleep as soon as I hit that pillow. So I'm sharing this for a reason. If you are someone that has the preference of visualizing, and you're a natural visualizer, it's easy for you to visually come up with scenes that imply you have what you're manifesting. And you choose to do it right before bed. You still have, and just like anybody else with any other technique, you still have the responsibility of not allowing your mind to take you into old self thinking throughout your day. So again, someone who is naturally a visual type of person, someone who enjoys visualizing, and you might only do it right before bed. The rest of your day matters. But that goes for every technique. Whether you're having an inner conversation, whether you're scripting, affirming, robotic affirming, visualizing in SATs, even an inner conversation with SATs, any technique in state akin to sleep. Okay? Any technique that you do, whether you're doing it in SATs, whether you're not even trying to be into SATs, you're just doing your routine right before bed, or you're doing your routine first thing in the morning. When you're not doing your technique, that's the time that matters. Being aware of where your mind is going throughout the day. So you see with manifestation, there is not, like I said, there is not one best number one technique. From my personal opinion, deciding who I am is the best technique because that's my favorite. But it doesn't mean for everybody else it's got to be their number one. It's just mine because it's easy. It's easy to just declare I am a new self. That's literally what I do. I just tell myself who I am. However, even if I was someone who loves robotic affirming, okay? If you're going to notice, I'm repeating myself on this. Even if I loved robotic affirming and that was something I did for my manifestation routine, when I'm not robotic affirming, the rest of my day matters. So when people are searching for videos, what's the best manifestation technique? And I know they're searching for it because, YouTube provides the ability to see what's the most searched for title, and that's one of them. I wish everyone could see my video and hear this. The best technique is the technique that feels good to you. But what's most important is when you're done with your technique, what are you doing the rest of the day? Because, for example, if I had been deciding to be a version of myself first thing in the morning, like I do, and I do decide again who I am once I start working out. I work out every day because it feels good for me to do it, right? Those things feel good to me. That's why I continue to do them. That's why they're the techniques of my choice. But when I'm not in the time frame of first thing in the morning, or when I'm not working out, I don't allow myself to let my mind wander into shit territory. And by shit territory, I mean allowing myself to sit and marinate in my old self thinking. Because I don't want to be that version of myself anymore. So the real question is not what's the best technique, but what are you doing throughout your day, or what should you be doing? You don't want manifestation to feel like an overwhelming part-time job. You want it to feel sustainable, something that you can comfortably, easily do every single day as you're becoming your new self. And listen, repetition is what makes things feel more natural, more comfortable, more real. Repetition. Doing something over and over again. Because that's what you were doing before you found conscious manifestation. You were on repetition every single day, moment by moment, deciding who you are, deciding what version of yourself that you are. You might not have thought those conscious thoughts, but what you were doing was, we'll say, for example, maybe you're someone right now manifesting money, and most of your life money has been hard for you to get your hands on. Maybe you grew up, in a low-income family. So you have always thought that money was a million miles away from you. Very hard to have. You got to work hard for it. You got to have a special edition college education in order to get a job that pays good money. That's a habit. You were being that version of yourself on repeat every single day. So you were in a habit. Your manifestation techniques, all of them, are helping you to break the habit of being the old version of yourself, the broke version of yourself, and start the new habit of being the version of yourself that money is flowing to you like water. Every technique is amazing. Every single one of them are. But the best one is the one that excites you, the one that feels good to you. My suggestion as well, just a little side note, that when you are on this manifestation journey, this journey of self, rising in consciousness, self, follow what feels good. 90% of the time, that when you have a question of what you should or should not do, it's usually what feels good is the one we should follow. The decision we make should be follow what feels good. But every technique is getting you or guiding you into becoming the version of yourself that has what you want. Or another way of wording that is the state of the wish fulfilled. So going back to the original question, wrapping this up. If you love robotic affirming, if you love scripting, inner conversations, visualizing, doing any technique in state akin to sleep, they're all amazing techniques. Making a conscious decision over who you believe you are, or embodiment, which is allowing yourself to physically and emotionally feel like you are already that new self or already in the state of the wish fulfilled, which is just really knowing whatever it is you're manifesting is already yours, because it already is yours. It was just waiting for you to become aware of it. That's that habit I was talking about. You've been in a habit of being a version of yourself who was aware of being without what you're manifesting. You're just moving your awareness. But whatever technique it is, those techniques are not manifesting for you. Those techniques are getting you to shift your state or shift your awareness, your focus. Everything manifestation technique-wise is getting you to become aware of being the you that has the desire. That's all manifestation is. This is why you hear all the time, who are you being? Who do you believe you are? Or you manifest who you are or what you are. Change who you think you are, then you get change out in 3D reality. So there is not one best technique. It's the technique that feels best to you. So on that note, I'll see you tomorrow.